Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into something really special. Not just a story, but a legend. One that feels so, I don't know, potent that it seems like time itself is paying attention.
hmm
Our source is excerpts from The Ruby That Sang the Sky by Srinidhi Ranganathan, and it transports us right away. Listen to this opening.
The land of Khazir al-Nur, where the sun met the dunes like a lover returning each dawn, and night came perfumed with jasmine and whispering winds. Just stunning.
It really is. And that's our mission today, isn't it? To sort of unpack this legend, figure out why some stories just stick with us, why
Yeah.
they resonate across generations.
Yeah.
We want to go beyond just the plot and look at the intrigue, the magic, the prophecy, the human element woven through it all.
And the legend promises some specific, pretty wild things right up front.
It does. We're talking about a ruby that can apparently sing, a lost frog who's actually a king,
Right.
a mountain that speaks, and not just speaks, but speaks secrets older than stars.
Yeah. And princess. A princess known for her beauty, yes, but also her defiance. It's quite the build-up.
That mix is what grabs you immediately, I think. You've got these, impossible, fantastical ideas. A singing ruby,
Mm-hmm.
a frog king,
Mm-hmm.
but they're tied to really human things. Curses, dreams, the quiet life of an ordinary craftsman. It makes you ask right from the start, what kind of power is in a story like this? A story that can supposedly silence the sky.
Exactly. How can a gem, a physical object, have that kind of cosmic pull? It's that initial mystery, that hint of something truly unbelievable that just draws you into Khazir al-Nur.
It pulls you right in.
It does. And this isn't like a simple kid's fable with an obvious lesson. It feels like a journey into something deeper, more mystical. The landscape feels alive. Everything hints at some hidden reality.
Yeah, the intrigue is baked right in.
Absolutely. The power isn't just in what happens, but in the questions it keeps making you ask.
Okay, so let's really immerse ourselves in that setting first. Qasir al-Nir, that description again. Where the sun met the dunes like a lover returning each dawn, and night came perfumed with jasmine and whispering winds. You can almost feel that warmth, can't you? Smell the jasmine.
Oh, definitely. And using descriptions like that, so rich and poetic, it's a masterclass in storytelling, especially, in the Arabian tradition. It's more than just a backdrop.
Right.
It pulls you into a world that feels charged somehow,
Yeah.
full of ancient wonder, possibilities. The land itself almost feels like a character, doesn't it? Like it has its own secrets, its own magic.
Yeah, it does feel alive.
So Qasir al-Nur isn't just a place on a map. It's an atmosphere. It whispers about enchantment, about mysteries waiting just under the surface. It sets this expectation that, okay, we're stepping into something timeless here, something beyond the ordinary. Anything could happen.
And right within that setting, the legend just lays out these core mysteries, like clues almost. The source calls it a prophetic quartet.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a ruby that could sing the sky into stillness.
Which is incredible.
A lost frog with the soul of a king.
Still trying to picture that one.
A mountain that could speak secrets older than stars. And a princess so beautiful that roses turned crimson in envy. These feel connected, don't they? Like puzzle pieces.
Absolutely connected. And the immediate intrigue from these four elements, they seem so different, right? But you instantly feel they belong together. Each one sparks a question.
Totally.
How does a ruby sing the sky quiet? What kind of power is that? And a king cursed into being a frog. Why? What happened there?
Yeah, what's the backstory?
And a mountain holding secrets older than stars? What does that even mean? Is it like, a living oracle? And then the princess, beautiful, yes, but defiant. How does she fit into all this prophecy and magic?
It sets up a quest right away.
Exactly. It's not just random weirdness. It establishes this feeling of destiny, that these four unique things must come together somehow. Magic, fate, the human need for answers, it's all tangled up. It's a really clever way to build complexity right from the start, Makes you want to follow along and see how it all fits.
Mm-hmm. Especially with elements that unusual. A singing ruby, a frog king.
Yeah.
It definitely catches your attention.
It really does.
Okay, so within this magical world, we meet our first sort of grounded character.
Yeah.
Hazir, the gem cutter. He's described as poor but proud. And this is key. He worked not for gold, but for wonder.
That's such a great line.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
His tools are worn, his fingers calloused. He's clearly a craftsman, rooted in the physical. But he has this gleam of the impossible in his eyes. He's not a knight or a prince. He's an artisan, close to the earth's treasures, but looking for something more. What's the significance of him being a gem cutter, do you think?
Well, I think Hazir is that classic archetype, right? The ordinary person who gets swept up in something extraordinary. It makes the story relatable.
Yeah.
And his job, being a gem cutter, that's deeply significant. He knows stones. He understands their beauty, their flaws, their inherent nature. But he seems to have this reverence, this sense that there might be something more in them than just rock.
Right, not just monetary value.
Exactly. That line, not for gold, but for wonder, that's everything. It shows he's open, spiritually open perhaps, to seeing the extraordinary in what others might see as mundane.
Mhm.
So when he encounters real magic, this profound magic, he has the sensibility to recognize it for what it is. Because he already has this respect for the soul of stones, maybe?
That makes sense.
His character sort of grounds the story's fantastical bits, makes the unbelievable feel a bit more tangible through his eyes. It's his humility, his groundedness, but combined with that gleam of the impossible that makes him the perfect person for this legend to happen to.
It suggests that real wonder isn't found by, like, ambitious conquerors, maybe, but by
Yeah.
people with curiosity and respect.
I think so, yeah. A genuine, almost childlike awe.
So Hazir's there, living his quiet life, seeking wonder, and then things get dramatic, really dramatic. The source paints this intense scene. One stormy night, lightning clawed across the sky, and the wind carried voices not meant for mortals. Right. And then this mysterious figure shows up, cloaked in feathers, and gives Hazir this sharp command, almost a dare. Cut it, if you dare.
You dear.
It feels very mythic, doesn't it? The storm, the mysterious stranger, the challenge.
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic narrative device, but done so effectively here. It signals something huge is happening. The storm isn't just weather, it feels like a cosmic event, like the veil between worlds is tearing.
Yeah.
And the figure, cloaked in feathers, an enigma, a messenger from somewhere else. And that command, cut it, if you dare. It immediately tells you this ruby isn't just valuable. It's dangerous.
Mhm.
It requires courage, maybe even recklessness to even handle it. It sets up this immediate tension, a test for Hazir. And it hints the ruby isn't necessarily a good thing. It carries risk.
It definitely creates intrigue around both the figure and whatever's in that pouch.
Totally. You know Hazir's life is about to change, fundamentally. Forces beyond his understanding are stepping in. It tells you this ruby is the key to something huge and potentially perilous.
And what he finds inside? Well, Hazir, the expert gem cutter, knows instantly.
Yeah.
This is a stone unlike any other, a glowing, humming ruby that pulsed like a living heart.
Wow, like a living heart.
Yeah, and he hesitates. He sees galaxies in his core, storms of ancient light.
Yeah,
His first reaction is profound. I don't cut magic.
which says so much about him.
It does. But the figure, as they vanish, throws back this chilling line. But magic cuts you if you don't. Suddenly, it's not just a gem anymore, is it? It's alive. It has consequences.
That exchange is crucial. The description first, glowing, humming, pulsing like a living heart, that tells you straight up. This isn't just a powerful object, it's sentient. It has life.
Yeah.
And Hazir's line, I don't cut magic, shows his deep respect, his understanding that this operates on a totally different level than his usual craft. He gets it.
He senses it.
But then the retort, magic cuts you if you don't. That just transforms everything. The ruby becomes this active force, this unavoidable fate. Inaction is dangerous too. The stakes just shoot up.
It makes the ruby itself so intriguing. Is it good? Bad? A tool? A trap?
Exactly. It has power, clearly, but maybe also a will. It demands something from Hazir. He's caught. It's a brilliant way to give an inanimate object such presence, such menace, almost.
And then comes the moment that names the legend. Hazir finally touches it. And he doesn't just see light or feel heat. He hears something. The music of the sky. But the description is specific. Not notes, not songs, but the hum of stars, the weeping of clouds, the laughter of moons unborn. This isn't just pretty music. It feels like a direct line to the cosmos.
This has to be the core aha
Yeah.
moment, doesn't it? It adds this incredible layer of metaphysical intrigue. The music of the sky, it's not something human ears are meant to process easily, I think.
Right? It sounds overwhelming.
It implies this direct, unfiltered connection to the very, fabric of existence, like the underlying vibration of everything, the symphony of creation itself. Not music as we know it, but something much more primal, speaking directly to the soul. So the ruby isn't just magical, it's a mystical conduit, a direct link to the universe. And that's the danger, right? That's why Hazir starts to unravel.
Ah, okay.
His mind, used to the beauty and structure of earthly gems, is just flooded, overwhelmed by this this raw, boundless cosmic truth. He's not just hearing things, he's experiencing pure existence, unmediated. And that's enough to push anyone towards madness.
So the very thing that makes it wondrous is also what makes it dangerous.
Exactly, that fine line between wonder and devastation. It's deeply, chillingly intriguing.
Okay, so Hazir is grappling with this cosmic overload, teetering on madness. But remember that quartet. The other pieces, let's shift focus, way up north to the oasis of Bar el-Sur. Here we meet the next piece. The last frog with the soul of a king.
Right, the Frog King.
This is Maimin. He was once king of the Shimmering Isles. But his own advisor cursed him, and the advisor, kind of poetically, became a scorpion.
Ooh, nice touch. Adds a layer of specific villainy.
Totally. And Ammon is doomed to leap and hop until someone found the ruby that could undo his fate. And here's a key detail that ramps up the tension. Many had tried, none have returned.
Okay, so finding this ruby is not just hard, it's potentially lethal.
Exactly. It deepens the mystery around the curse and the ruby itself.
Yeah, this brings in that classic folklore trope of transformation curses, but with these really specific, intriguing details. The betrayal by the advisor, the scorpion transformation, it gives Emmon's backstory real weight, a sense of deep injustice. And that line, many had tried, none had returned, that immediately raises the stakes. It makes the ruby seem even more powerful, more guarded maybe. It paints him in as this really tragic figure just waiting, isolated by this curse. You feel for him.
You do. It highlights how tough breaking these kinds of magical bonds must be.
And the image itself, a king reduced to a frog, it's visually striking, helplessness, but with this hint of hidden majesty. Very engaging.
And who arrives to potentially break this curse? Princess Lila of Zafir. Described as determined and defiant, qualities you like to see in a protagonist.
Definitely.
But what's really fascinating about Lila is why she's there. It says, she had not come for glory. She had come because her dreams had started whispering Ammon's name.
Ah, okay. So not your typical treasure hunt.
No, it's personal. It feels like destiny, like an internal calling. She's specifically looking for the mountain that spoke, something mentioned in her father's old scrolls. How does that motivation change things, do you think?
Oh, profoundly. It sets her apart from heroes just seeking fame or fortune. Her quest is driven by dreams, by prophecy. It makes it deeply personal, almost spiritual. It suggests a connection that's beyond logic, right?
Preordained somehow.
It's a really interesting twist on the hero's journey, not about proving herself to the world, but answering this inner voice, this sense of fate. It makes her much more complex, more captivating. You feel she's not just an adventurer, she's chosen.
And the detail about her father's scrolls adds another layer, too.
It does. Suggests a legacy, maybe, a family connection to these ancient mysteries. Her defiance, combined with this spiritual guidance from her dreams, it makes her a really formidable and intriguing character right from the start. You want to see what she does.
So Lila, fueled by these dreams and her own determination, makes this difficult journey. And on the 7th day, she finds it, Mount Khyber, the speaking mountain. The description is powerful. Its peak sliced by thunder, its base coiled with ancient vines. It doesn't sound like just rock. It sounds ancient, alive, scarred by time.
Yeah.
What's the symbolism of a mountain like this in a legend?
Well, mountains in mythology, they're almost always sacred places, aren't they? Places of power, ancient wisdom, sometimes where mortals connect with the divine.
Right, like Mount Olympus or Sinai.
Exactly. They're seen as connecting points between heaven and earth. And the description of Khyber, sliced by thunder, coiled with ancient vines, it emphasizes its age, its resilience, its almost formidable mystical presence. It feels like it's seen everything. So it implies that any wisdom it holds is going to be profound, maybe hard-earned, not given lightly. It really ups the intrigue, placing this living oracle at the center of her quest. Makes you lean in and wonder, okay, what's it going to say? It's not just scenery, it's a gatekeeper, almost.
A test.
Yeah, a test of her resolve, definitely.
And as she starts to climb, undeterred, the mountain does speak, the rocks shift, and this ancient voice rumbles. Many seek, few listen, fewer believe. Ooh, a challenge right away.
Exactly. But Lila is focused. She just says, tell me where the ruby lies. The mountain gives this sigh of time, which is such a great image, and then delivers the prophecy, the riddle. Beneath the gem-cutter's blade, where silence sings and fate is made, seek the frog with eyes of fire, only he can lift the lyre. This is where the threads start to come together, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This whole exchange is just brilliantly done. That opening line from the mountain, many seek, few listen, fewer believe. It's not just a warning. It's a test of her character, right? Of her faith.
Yeah. It sets this philosophical tone. It's saying true understanding isn't just about looking. It's about being attentive, being open to the unbelievable, trusting things beyond the surface. It challenges Lila and us listening right from the start. And then the prophecy itself. It's a fantastic little beneath the gem cutter's blade. That clearly points to Hazir, doesn't it? Our poor gem cutter struggling with the ruby,
Right.
where silence sings and fate is made. That connects directly to the ruby's power. Its cosmic song that creates stillness, and how destiny literally depends on it. That phrase, silence sings, it perfectly echoes Hazir's experience, right? That overwhelming music that bordered on silence.
Yeah.
And then Seek the Frog with Eyes of Fire, that's the clincher. The direct link to Amin, the Cursed King, his distinctive feature, those fiery golden eyes we hear about later. The lyre seems symbolic here, maybe representing release, transformation, the thing only he can activate to break the curse.
Right, it all clicks together.
It does. It's this intricate web of clues that Lila has to piece together, using both her intellect and that intuition from her dreams. It makes the legend so engaging because you're solving it alongside her. It confirms that none of those initial weird elements were random. They were all part of this grand design, always meant to connect. It's incredibly satisfying when those connections are revealed.
So Lila deciphers the mountain's riddle, connects it back to her dreams, and figures it out pretty quickly. She finds Hazir, who, remember, was just as he was being swallowed by madness, the ruby's hum growing louder each day. He was lost in that cosmic noise.
Right, completely overwhelmed.
But Lila arrives with the missing context. She tells him about the Frog King, the curse, the ruby's purpose in breaking it. This collaboration seems absolutely vital, doesn't it? Neither could have done it alone.
Absolutely vital. It really highlights how sometimes the biggest challenges, especially magical ones, need collaboration. Hazir had the object, but he was drowning in its power, unable to grasp its meaning. Layli brings the why. She brings the framework, the understanding that allows Hazir to see his experience not as madness, but as part of a solution. She's his lifeline, really.
Pulls him back from the edge.
Exactly. It shows that strength often comes from combining different kinds of knowledge, different ways of seeing. Shared understanding, shared belief. It's Layla's faith in the prophecy combined with Hazir's unfortunate intimacy with the ruby that allows things to move forward. Their meeting point is crucial. It shows how practical knowledge and mystical intuition need each other. Very intriguing.
And this leads to the climax, the moment everything has been building towards. The ruby, humming with energy, is placed before Amin the frog, and reality just shifts. Amin's eyes turned gold and the wind froze mid-dance.
Whoa.
The ruby lifts into the air, and then it sang a haunting melody that made the stars pause and the moon weep. It's not just music, it's affecting the cosmos.
A reality-altering sound.
And then, the transformation. Amin isn't a frog anymore. He's a tall man with bronze skin, emerald robes, and a tear in his eye. And his first words, "I remember everything." So much weight in those words.
The imagery there is just incredible, isn't it? So powerful, so symbolic. His eyes turning gold, the wind freezing, classic signs that something profoundly magical is happening. The rules of ordinary reality are suspended.
Yeah.
And the ruby's song making stars pause, the moon weep. It shows the immense, almost primal power it holds. It's reordering things on a cosmic scale. And Amin remembering everything, that adds such depth, such pathos. It's not just his body changing, his entire identity, his history, his suffering, it all comes flooding back. It underscores the weight of his long curse and the profound relief of his liberation.
Makes the transformation mean more.
Exactly. It's the spectacular payoff we've been waiting for, the prophecy fulfilled. And it delivers in this really breathtaking way. It validates everything Lila and Hazir went through. It's a really powerful moment of reawakening.
Okay, so victory. The curse is broken, the king restored. You feel this sense of peace settling. But then the story hits you with, but curses do not die quietly.
Oh no, just when you thought it was safe.
Right. The sky instantly darkens. And out of the sand comes the scorpion sorcerer, Amin's old advisor, the one who cursed him in the first place. His voice is described as a hiss that curdled blood. He's back, clearly wanting the ruby, probably wanting revenge too. It's such a dramatic, unsettling turn.
It is, but it feels narratively necessary, doesn't it? For a story this epic, the victory has to be tested. The past has to be confronted directly.
Yeah, you can't just ignore the source of the problem.
Exactly. The antagonist returning underscores that idea that evil, once unleashed, doesn't just vanish. It has roots. It persists. The sudden darkness, that blood-curdling hiss, It ramps the tension right back up.
Shatters the peace immediately.
It raises the stakes again, showing that fixing one problem can sometimes reveal a deeper one lurking beneath. It adds another layer of intrigue because it forces a final showdown with the origin of all the suffering. No loose ends.
And in this confrontation, lightning strikes maybe fate intervening again and hits the ruby. The heart of the legend, it cracks. But it doesn't just break apart. Instead, from it rose a spirit in the form of a firebird.
A firebird, wow.
And as it soars, the bird sang a final song, one only Lila could understand. This feels like more than just destruction. It's a transformation. Sacrifice, maybe.
Definitely feels like a sacrifice and transformation. It's so symbolic. The ruby doesn't just shatter, it gives birth to something new, something perhaps even more potent spiritually. The firebird, that's a universal symbol of rebirth, purification, triumph, right? Its emergence suggests that true power isn't about holding on to a physical object, but about spiritual essence, about evolving. And the fact that this final song, unlike the overwhelming cosmic hum Hazir heard, is something only Lila understands, that's crucial.
Why is that so important?
It cements her role, doesn't it? It deepens her unique connection to the magic, to the prophecy. She's the true inheritor, the one attuned to its deeper meaning because of her intuition, her dreams, her purity of heart, maybe.
Yeah.
She can understand its final, intimate message.
Okay.
It elevates the ruby from just a powerful thing to this self-sacrificing entity, giving its essence for the final victory. And it makes Layla's role even more significant, more central to the destiny unfolding. It's a beautiful image destruction leading to a higher form.
So, guided by this firebird spirit, Lila steps up. This is her moment. She raises the shattered ruby, now transformed, and she recites these forgotten words from her scroll. Ancient words. By truth unspoken and love unbroken, let poison be turned and evil be choken. It's not a sword, it's words. Words of power.
Born of conviction.
And the effect is instant. The scorpion sorcerer screams, turns to sand, and just vanishes. Gone. It really drives home that idea that the greatest power isn't always physical force, right?
Absolutely. This is Lila's true moment of heroism, where her knowledge, her inner strength, and her destiny all come together. And the power of those words, truth unspoken and love unbroken, that's the core of it.
Yeah.
These aren't spells in the traditional sense. They feel like fundamental forces. Integrity, compassion, purity of heart, those are the weapons that defeat the ancient evil, not magic wands or swords. It suggests the highest power comes from these intangible virtues. And the immediate dramatic result, the sorcerer dissolving, it just proves the immense power of those truths when wielded by someone like Layla, someone resolute and pure. Her agency here, using wisdom and conviction, makes her such an inspiring figure.
It's about inner strength.
Exactly. Inner strength, speaking truth, acting with love. That's what wins the day. It's her resonance with the ruby's ultimate purpose channeled through her.
And with the darkness finally gone for good, we get the resolution, the fates of the characters. Amin, free at last, takes Layla's hand, their destinies fulfilled, together.
A very satisfying union.
In Hazir. He goes back to his quiet life. But it's changed. He's now visited by birds that sang starlight. It's such a subtle, beautiful reward, isn't it? Perfect for him.
It really is perfect for him.
Yeah.
These resolutions feel earned, reflecting each character's journey. Amin and Lila's union isn't just romantic, it's symbolic, the merging of kingship and prophecy, destiny fulfilled. And Hazir's reward, birds singing starlight, is so poignant. It ties right back to his search for wonder. He doesn't get riches or fame, but his everyday life is now infused with the very cosmic beauty he glimpsed. It's a quiet enchantment, heightened perception, perfectly fitting his character. It adds this gentle, lingering magic to his story. Some rewards change how you see the world, not what you own.
Yeah, that's lovely. And the magic doesn't just vanish. The legend leaves its mark on Qasr Ulnar itself. The shards of the broken ruby become the stars above Qasr Ulnar. And it says, on every blood moon, they twinkled a song that only the faithful could hear. So the magic transforms, becomes part of the world.
That's such a beautiful, evocative image. The source of the conflict and the resolution literally becomes part of the heavens. It powerfully reinforces that idea that true magic or true meaning isn't lost, it transforms. It becomes part of the world's cycles, part of its fabric. And that detail, the song only the faithful could hear, that's key. It suggests profound truths aren't always obvious. They're subtle, quiet, accessible only to those who are open, who believe, who are spiritually attuned. It keeps the ruby's legacy alive, eternally intriguing, waiting for those with open hearts to listen. It implies magic isn't a one-time find. It's something you have to keep listening for.
So after everything, Amin and Lila rule. But The description of their reign is unique, not as king and queen alone, but as legend and listener, magic and mortal, fate and flame.
Hmm.
That's more than just being rulers, isn't it? It sounds like they embody the legend itself.
It really elevates them, doesn't it? It suggests a kind of leadership that's rooted in wisdom, empathy, a deep understanding of both the seen and unseen worlds. Legend and listener, magic and mortal, fate and flame. It's an incredibly inspiring vision. Yeah.
It implies their rule isn't just about power, but about being attuned to deeper truths, responsive to people, navigating that complex balance between the ordinary and the extraordinary. It suggests they rule with a sense of cosmic purpose, shaped by their incredible journey. Their reign becomes a living continuation of the legend, keeping its power alive. Very intriguing way to frame leadership.
And the story makes sure it doesn't just end, it echoes. The mountain still speaks. The frog is now a tale told by grandmothers to curious children. And the ruby, it sings still, but only if you dare to listen. The magic is still there, accessible.
That conclusion is so powerful because it reinforces the timelessness of the legend. It speaks to the oral tradition, how stories become woven into culture, passed down.
And that challenge, only if you dare to listen, that's aimed right at us, isn't it? It transforms the story from something that happened into something that is. An ever-present possibility. It invites us to be attentive in our own lives, to look for the magic in the quiet moments. It keeps the legend perpetually intriguing, always offering something new if you're willing to engage. Stories as living things.
Which brings us right to the core message, the deep moral takeaway from The Ruby That Sang the Sky. It states it pretty directly. Sometimes the greatest magic isn't in breaking curses or finding rubies. It's in believing the unbelievable, loving the forgotten, and listening to the stories hidden in the silence of mountains. This feels like the heart of it all, shifting the focus inward.
Absolutely. This is the ultimate aha moment. And it's what makes the story so profoundly intriguing and universally relevant. It takes it beyond fantasy into, well, a guide for living, almost. Let's break that down.
Okay, first, believing the unbelievable.
Right. This isn't just about accepting magic in a story. It's a call to cultivate openness in our own lives. Think about Hazir, hesitant at first, but forced to accept this living ruby. Or Lila, following dreams that made no logical sense. The legend encourages us to suspend disbelief sometimes, to see potential where others see impossibility, having faith in what our rational mind might reject. That's where breakthroughs happen, right? In science, in art, in personal growth, seeing beyond the obvious.
Then loving the forgotten.
This points straight to Amin, doesn't it? The king, forgotten as a frog, stripped of everything. Layla's quest was driven by empathy for him, this forgotten soul. Her compassion brought him back.
Yeah, not a desire for glory.
Exactly. So it translates to valuing the overlooked, the marginalized people, ideas, maybe even parts of ourselves we've neglected. It's about empathy, recognition, the power of connection. Remembering and caring for those cast aside can lead to profound transformations. Looking beyond the surface to find worth.
And finally, listening to the stories hidden in the silence of mountains.
This echoes Mount Khyber's warning. Few listen. It's about seeking deeper meaning, looking beyond the noise, discerning the quiet wisdom.
Being present.
Exactly. Being truly attentive to the subtle cues, the whispers. Understanding that truth isn't always loud. Often it's in quiet moments, in nature, in reflection, in really hearing others. That kind of deep listening lets us find the magic in everyday life, connect with something fundamental, like Hazir hearing that cosmic hum. It's about being receptive.
So the real magic isn't the external stuff, the rubies and curses.
It's the internal stuff. Belief, compassion, deep listening. That's the power we all potentially have. It makes the legend universally applicable. The intrigue isn't just the fantasy. It's how that fantasy mirrors these deep human truths and encourages us to find that magic within ourselves and around us. It can actually change how you see reality. Hashtag tag tag outro.
Wow, what an incredible story. We've really journeyed through The Ruby That Sang the Sky, prophecy, magic, courage, intuition. It just unfolds beautifully, layer after layer. Kept me hooked, definitely.
It truly did. And that core message resonates, doesn't it? That the real magic, the deep magic, is often found in those intangible qualities. Belief, love, the simple act of truly listening. It's a great reminder that even the most fantastical stories can hold profound human truths about our own inner power.
So as you go about your day, maybe carry this with you. A question to ponder. What singing rubies or speaking mountains might exist in your own life? Where are those moments you might need to believe the unbelievable or really listen to stories hidden in silence they might be waiting for you to notice?
Yeah, What forgotten truths or maybe unbelievable possibilities are whispering around you right now, just waiting for you to dare to listen and perhaps bring them into being?
Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into such an enchanting legend. Keep exploring those fascinating stories hidden all around you, and we'll be back soon with another one.